Today's show is sponsored by DVCBuyResale.com. DVCBuyResale.com is a great place to buy or sell your Disney Vacation Club membership. You can view their current Disney Vacation Club resales, get answers to frequently asked questions, and see the DVC points charts all at DVCBuyResale.com. Or call Chantel directly at 1-800-844-4099. This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, June 27th, 2008, and this is episode 428 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. On the show today, we have Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
Howdy ho, Matt.
Very nice. And also on the show today, we have Mike Scuff of AllEars.net. Welcome, Mike.
He'll be wearing the latest in state-of-the-art technology.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
He's back to the B list.
It's something in the Magic Kingdom, right?
No.
He'll be wearing the latest in state.
He'll be wearing the latest in state-of-the-art technology. Like if I told you who says it, you'll guess it. Want me to tell you?
Yeah, just say it for time.
Character's name is, I believe, Sharon Foster.
Oh, it's from Sounds Dangerous. I should know that.
Didn't sound familiar, but it sounds dangerous. Get it?
Oh, my gosh.
Boo. Boo. Also on the show today, we have the fabulous Annette Owens of MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Hi, holding down the state of North Carolina today since we're not letting Lynn on.
Representing the big old NC. Did you hear that giggle, Mike? It's like, oh, you're stupid.
I have to capture that for future reference.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Every time someone says a bad joke, get the Annette giggle.
Oh, no.
I like that. On today's show, we're talking about the heat. With it being now well into June. June's pretty much over. We're well into summer now here in the great state of Florida. And coming down here for the next couple of months is going to be a little bit of a challenge in terms of weather because the heat persists not only in July and August, like you might imagine, but it also really extends into much of September and even a fair portion of October in terms of just the sheer amount of heat. And we'd like to share some tips for dealing with the heat because it can be a topic that I think a lot of people kind of glaze over, kind of assuming, well, we know it's hot in Florida, but there are some certain things I think we've learned over the years that have really benefited us on our trips down there. And I know that each of us, I mean, obviously I live down here, but I know that Mike, and Annette have both come down here recently and dealt with the heat firsthand. So we could talk about kind of some of the strategies that we use when dealing with the heat. So Annette, I want to start with you, Annette. Tell me, if someone asks you, one of your clients asks you, Annette, tell me about going in the summertime. What are the general guidelines you try to give to some of your clients regarding the heat in Walt Disney World?
I think the biggest thing I let them know is take advantage of those extra magic hours, those early morning entry. Mm-hmm. Go back, when the heat really gets bad, go back, take a nap, go swim in the pool, take a little breather back at the resort. And then, since the park hours are later, and then if you really get that extra magic hours until 2 or 3 in the morning in Magic Kingdom, very, very nice temperatures when it's 1 in the morning.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we always say with extra magic hours, it can be kind of crowded, and that's true. The fact is that I would rather be in a crowd at 11 o'clock at night than at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because at least at night, it's going to be far more comfortable to deal with. Scopa, what are some of your thoughts about traveling in the summertime?
Well, I was just, while Annette was talking, I was counting how many summer trips I've taken and trips that I've taken in either June, July, August, and maybe even early September. And I think I've taken about 16 of them. And I've learned a lot from those trips. One of the things that I've always recommended to anybody going down for their first summer trip is to avoid being in the parks between 12 and 4. It's the hottest part of the day. The sun is really at its zenith, and it's not really worth, like you said, Matt, being in a line at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you're really, really hot. So to reinforce what Annette said about leaving, going to the parks during the extra magic hours if you're staying on the resort, very good point. Get there early, do as much as you can. Then as soon as that midday sun starts to hit and the crowds get really really huge, as they're known to get in the summertime, then you leave the parks, go to the pool, stay out of the sun, do something indoors, whatever, and then late afternoon, sometime between 4 and 6 o'clock, then you return to the parks. Then you can do what you were not able to do early on. And like you said, Matt, it's a lot more tolerable staying in line at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night than it would be 2, 3, or 4 o'clock during the day.
Absolutely, Mike. One of the other things that, it's really what I think it is the advantage of, when you're there, you want to minimize any time that you're spending outside sweating. And, you want to take advantage of any opportunity you can to be in air conditioning over not being in air conditioning. And really staying on a Disney World property resort, I think, can really benefit you, or better yet, taking advantage of the Disney bus service, because then you're getting in a very cold Disney bus as opposed to getting into your sauna-like car. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's one thing that I think is important to take advantage of.
I think something else just to bear in mind is, Florida summers is almost like a daily thunderstorm.
Yes.
So come prepared. I know we used to go in the summer all the time, and we still have our ponchos. Call us cheap. We still have the ponchos that we bought the first time we got rained on in the park. And I bring Ziploc bags so that you pull them out, you have them, you put them on during the brief little shower when it comes, you shake it off, you throw it back in the Ziploc bag, put it back in your backpack, nothing else gets wet, and you keep on going. And for people like me that hate to get wet on like Splash Mountain, you have it with you.
Absolutely. Now, here's something that people recommend to me. I'm not sure what way I'm on. I'm wondering what you guys think about it. It's the water mister fans. Do you guys think that that's a good idea, the water mister fans?
Yeah, it has worked. I used to coach soccer, and we used to have all the mothers, bring them to the soccer tournaments, and we used to play in June, especially Father's Day. There used to be a big tournament in Massachusetts, and used to have them spray the kids, and it would really, keep them nice and cool. So I don't know if it works for everybody, but it works for some. If you're talking about the big bottles, Matt, the kids, it works for the kids. They see it as a novelty, they see it as a toy, and hey, it keeps them cool. So if it works, why not?
Absolutely.
Cool and entertained, yes.
The thing that I like to do also is I always grab from my resort a little small hand towel, and I put it in my pocket because I just keep it in my pocket because when I get into the park, it makes a huge difference if I can take that towel out and wipe away sweat rather than feeling like I'm just like covered in sweat all the time. Right, Mike Knoll?
You're returning that hand towel afterwards, right?
I burn it and I hear little screams emanate from it.
That's a great tip. I do the same, and it does make a heck of a difference.
Yeah, I mean, just to be able to wipe away just a little bit of sweat, even just from your brow, whether or not or anywhere else on your body, it makes such a big difference. And for me, I've gotten so used to it that I have to. And occasionally I'll be in the parks now and I'll forget it and I'll be like, oh man, and I'll try to pass it off and I'll be like, I'll be fine. And then, within like 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, I really wish I brought that towel. Some other tips that are going to keep you cool.
Getting back to the. Oh, sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead, Mike.
Getting back to the misters. About a month ago or so, the Fountain of Nations was down, and I noticed that when they brought it back up, there's a big mister coming out of that. A lot of mist coming out of the new Fountain of Nations. Has anybody else noticed that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's really.
You
cool.
missed it.
We're just not going as often as needed. That's the problem.
No, give me the Annette giggle right there, Mike.
No, I don't have that yet. You got to give me a couple of days.
Giggity.
But it's true. It's true. If you stand at the base over near the Spaceship Earth side, it's almost like a cloud of mist, and it's really neat. And apparently, a lot of other people have noticed it, and they all stand together, and we get soaked. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of misters in the parks. I know in the studios you can get a mister, obviously, in the Tower of Terror queue. There's also a mister in front of the backlot tour. There's what looks like a backlot tram vehicle coming through the wall, and there's every so often a mist comes out of that. There's the Coke bottle right next to it that sprays. Yep. There's the AT-AT Walker in front of Star Tours that sprays water every now and then.
Stitch.
Downtown Disney.
Downtown Disney, yep.
the spitting camel in Adventureland.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Forgot about
there's
that.
a lot of water coming out of places, and some people like it. I mean, there's the Singing in the Rain umbrella also. So there's places, opportunities for you to cool down a little bit and get a splash of cold water. And it really can make a difference. The other thing I really like about touring in the summer, and Scope, I think you can talk a little bit more about that, is those afternoon breaks and how important they are. Even if you get off your feet for an hour, doesn't seem like a whole lot, right? But I've always felt like if I get off my feet for an hour in the room in air conditioning, relax, it makes a huge difference for recharging my batteries.
That's very true, Matt. I can tell you that a long time ago, I remember listening to Red Auerbach, who used to be the coach of the Boston Celtics, and he used to say that when he'd take the team out to L.A. to play the Lakers, that it was against team rules for the players to lay out in the sun, because he found out from some doctor that the sun actually drains energy from you. And for that reason, you really want to stay out of the sun during the hot time of the day. And you want to be in the shade. You want to get off your feet. You want to give your body a chance to recover from the heat that, you may have encountered during the morning times out in the park. And while you're doing that, to make a segue, it's very important to hydrate.
Yes.
Very important to and this means all the time, even when you don't think you're thirsty, and you should drink. And there's always been this debate about what you should drink. And for a lot of people, when they go down there and they eat in a restaurant, the first thing they'll say is, "Oh, bring me unsweetened iced tea and put lemon in it." And I'm not sure if that's the correct thing to do. When you want to hydrate, maybe just water, because from what I understand, I think tea is a diuretic, and that will actually draw liquid out of your system. Mm-hmm. But it's very important to drink water, like every 2 to 3 hours. Drink some water, because without knowing it, I mean, you get so excited. There's so much stuff to do. You forget that you're actually getting dry. So you need to stop at that tea cart in China and.
That's not water. That's not water.
Yeah, You're absolutely right, Mike. I mean, what I do now is when I'm finding myself in the parks quite a bit now in the summer months, which I'm not used to, is I always just drink more water than I think I really need. And I've noticed that it really makes a difference, because I just feel like I'm not as drained if I keep replenishing that water quite often. And I've got a tip actually for everyone. One of the things you want to say, okay, Matt, Mike, it's a great idea to bring a lot of water with you, but I don't want to carry bottles of water behind me. It's heavy, and it's the last thing I need is extra weight. But you can actually get, obviously there's water fountains, but some people don't like it. Sometimes the water is warm. Then there's the whole sanitary aspect of a public water fountain. I've got a solution for you. You can actually go to any one of the counter service restaurants in any of the parks, and you can ask for a cup of ice water, and they will get you, it's free. You just go up to any of them. I've gone to a number of different restaurants, and these are counter service restaurants, and they'll give you a cup of water for free. So you go up to the counter, order it, you go to the thing, and they'll give you as many as you want. I've ordered 4 of them at a time, and it's a great tip because you'll get that it's free water basically in a cup with lots of ice in it. They always load it up with ice, and you can just get a cup of ice also, and you can refill it then with the water fountains and keep your cup going. And I think I found that to be really advantageous for me.
That's a great tip. I think something that we do, just because I have to have a little bit of flavor in my water.
Yes.
just I have to. The little packets of like Crystal Light with the hydration and some of that.
Yep.
It just kind of makes it so the water isn't water all day long. It's still maybe a lemon flavor or something else. But reusing those water bottles and using those is a great tip too.
Absolutely. I think one of the things you also want to consider, we talked about afternoon breaks, but I really think more than any time of the year, the summertime is the most important time of the year to take advantage, not just an afternoon break, but a day off from the parks. I know that a lot of times you're coming down here for only a couple of days. It might be hard, but for those of you who are coming for more than 3 or 4 days, I think it really is to your advantage to pick a day in the middle of your trip and not go to the parks. Take it easy. Sleep in. Spend the day at the pool. Maybe go to the spa. Enjoy a nice service over there at the spa and rejuvenate. Have a nice, relaxing dinner in an air-conditioned environment. That may take a couple hours, like in some of the higher-end restaurants. I think those kinds of ways to recharge your batteries while in your trip can make a huge difference, because then you'll go into the rest of your trip with, I think, a renewed sense of relaxation.
I totally agree. I just started doing that myself. I used to, as soon as I got in, every trip, right to the park. And parks. But lately, I've been doing that. I've been waking up late and getting to the parks late taking more advantage of the resort and just, staying in the room or going, doing other activities that are just not direct, sunlight.
Yeah, it's hard to do that, I think, because a lot of people get down to the parks and I'm in Disney World. I want to go. I want to go do everything right now because I've been thinking about this for months.
Right.
And it's very hard to go against it. I'm not saying you should take your first day when you're there and relax, but I'm saying after maybe 2 days in the park, take a day off and relax.
Or at least a half a day.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good idea. Well, that's it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. I also want to mention, actually, on this Sunday is our next live show. It'll be Sunday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And you can just go to wdwtoday.com and find all the information about it. It'll be on Sunday, June 29th. So if you're hearing this, be sure to join us. All the information about our live show is going to be at wdwtoday.com. For Mike Newell, Mike Scopa, and Annette Owens, and Len Testa, I am Matt Hodgford. We'll see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio. Today's show is sponsored by DVCBuyResale.com. DVCBuyResale.com is a great place to buy or sell your Disney Vacation Club membership. You can view their current Disney Vacation Club resales, get answers to frequently asked questions, and see the DVC points charts all at DVCBuyResale.com. Or call Chantel directly at 1-800-844-4099.